What's going on, YouTube? Welcome in to another beautiful build for you. Today we're finally building in the brand new APNX Creator C1 case. A little bit of a mouthful, but this case just hit the market here maybe a month or two ago, and we're finally getting our hands on it to see what we think about this brand new case, especially from this new company, because we have other cases coming down the line like the brand new APNX V1, which has a lot of fractal designs kind of vibes. It's got a little bit of wood built into it. You have different panels and different things you can interchange in it. Looks absolutely stunning. Today we're starting all off with the 14600K. We're cooling it with the Montech HyperFlow 240 AIO, which is a phenomenal AIO for the price right now. We're starting all off with a motherboard. We're going to go at the Z790 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi coming in from MSI. We're pairing it all off with 6400 megahertz, 32 gigs of DDR5 coming in Team Group and the Team Force Delta RGB. That's another tongue twister. We've got a 2 terabyte NVMe drive going down in the slot. Today we got the NV3 coming in from Kingston, which is a little bit higher speed version of the previous NV2 NVMe Gen 4 drive. Really good. I think I upped the speed up to 6,000, which is really good for a really good budget drive. And then we're powering it all with the 750 watt Asus 750G power supply. Again, going in the APNX C1, and then we've got the 4070 Super coming in from Asus as well, and their dual card, which is one of the best value cards for the power and for the price, and the Asus Dual Evo. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Make sure the like button to help us with the algorithm. Make sure to hit the subscribe button as well if you want to see more of these beautiful PCs showing up in your algorithm over here on YouTube. You want to catch us live on a raw like it is right now as I butcher this really long intro. You can join us any Monday, Wednesday, or Friday over on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/stints, streaming around 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and we hope to see you soon. All right, guys, I'll see you over at the build station here in just a second.
Good morning, good morning. Let's get started. Start pulling some of these parts down off the top. Cooler off to the side. We'll need the cooler here soon. That's a really good system. So today, like we're talking about, the 14600K 4070 Super, games like Tarkov, games like Call of Duty, around $1,700 price point. It's a phenomenal system that will really be able to perform at higher FPS for a really good price point. The 4070 Super really is a phenomenal GPU, especially paired with the 14600K, which is another awesome car, or another awesome one. I do believe on Friday we should hopefully have our first new core build with the new Core Ultras from Intel. We should be building one of those on Friday. We're gonna get started with the NVMe the NVMe and the CPU. Z790 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Phenomenal budget board. Really good. Let's go on the back. Plenty of USB, plenty of connectivity, 2.5 LAN, SSD Type C SSD 10. And we have a bunch of USB ports as well, BIOS flashback, and obviously our Wi-Fi 6E, which is nice to have as well. Let's get our CPU down in the socket. So we're looking. No bent pins, good to see. We still live? Next we're gonna work on our NVMe drive, that beautiful NV3 from Kingston, 2 terabyte today. There we go. NV3 down and in, 2 terabyte drive. Down and in we go, or back on we go with our thermal. Kind of like, this is really just a thermal dissipator. So the heat's not spreading right onto your GPU, things like that. They give off a lot of heat. NVMe drives, memory, things like that, they can give off some heat. They get a little spicy. There we go. Let's get our cooler out. Let's get our standoffs. We're just gonna get our standoffs in place for this HyperFlow, which I think it looks absolutely killer. Should look really good in this case today as well. Let's get our standoffs. Let me take our sticky pads and we can get this all mounted up. There we go, there we go. All went in. There we go. All right, standoffs, our back plate is on. Next, we're gonna work on our standoff screws, thermal paste, tube holders, everything else can go in the bag here. There are 4 standoffs. These in place. 1, 2. I love that they give you a little to tighten into the back plate. Look at this. This is a little tool to go over their standoffs and just tighten. Awesome feature. It's a little wrench. So it's nice and tight to the back plate. There we go. Now that's in, we're gonna get our RAM out today. We have the Delta RGB, 6400 megahertz today. Yep, should be, so if somebody, potentially what our goal is if somebody does buy a PC from us here, like end of this year, that potentially might be using their existing GPU and wants to upgrade to like a 50 series, we potentially will be able to do like a first access type of like once we have availability to the cards, be able to ship the card and sell the card directly. Something I'd be working on with NVIDIA. But there's our 6400 megahertz CL32 Delta RGB. Looks really good on this board. There it is. Before we get our case out, which is what I'm really excited about today, again, let's talk about what we have down here on the mat. Starting off the Z790 Gaming Wi-Fi coming in from MSI. We have the 14600K down in the socket. Our standoffs are in place nice and tight with that nice little tool that the Montech HyperFlow ARGB 240 AIO gives us. Down our NVMe Gen Slot 1, we have a Gen 4 Kingston NV3, which is actually a 6,000, I think it's up to 6,000 megabytes per second, which is phenomenal for a really budget drive. Let me tell you right now. Should look in the packaging. Speeds up to 6,000 megabytes a second, which is phenomenal for a little budget drive. And then we have our 32 gigs of 6400 megahertz CL32 RAM coming in from Team in the T-Force Delta RGB. There we go, absolutely stunning. Let's slide this aside, let's get this new case out. I saw the box, it had a little bit of damage in shipping, but the case is fine. Because they use the reusable high density foam, which is what I love to see. Not a single use styrofoam, they use a high density foam. All right, let's look at this case. Wow, it definitely has, oh, it's pretty heavy. Probably really good components. Usually when you have a really light case of like aluminum, it's like, ooh, is this gonna be cheap or is this gonna be chintzy? This feels pretty premium. Oh, a little flashy manual popped out. APNX Creator C1. Oh, this is all one panel. This whole front panel actually, so it's curved, completely curved on the front. That's different. I like that. That's slick. And then it just pops off, just like an NZXT case, which I love. Pop the glass off. Caution, tempered glass, handle with care. Yep. Right in the middle there between the styrofoam. Now this is what I want to see. We're not really working with over here. We're not even touching anything over here, so we don't even touch it. It's got a built-in GPU mount, which is nice to see. But let's see, how does this come off? That just lifts right out. That's so sick. Here's your front piece. It's so slick. Nice little fan filter built in. Love to see that. There we go, clips in. Top mount comes, oh my gosh, this comes out and slides. That's a cool top mount. I like that. Man, I like this case so far. Screws and our connections here out of here. They got a built-in fan hub with RGB. That's nice as well. Opening this case is like it's a Christmas morning. So many pieces of the puzzle, which could be I would say could deter some people. But here we go. It's opened up. It's removable by screws, it looks like, for the fan mount, or this is removable by screws. This is removable by screws. This is kind of just insets to block the other fan access here. 360 top mount, this comes out, which is nice. It's got 6 screws that sets this in, which is really nice for mounting radiators. And then we've got in the back kind of like a SSD tray, but we're gonna take this off because we want to get access to the cable management. This is held in by 4 screws. I don't know if they need the screws on the bottom. It'd be nice if the bottom just set into like a tray, so there's less screws on this. This is like, I would say, the only detraction. But this reminds me of a kind of older Leanly where they had screw points at the top and the bottom. Same thing with Fantex in the Metallic Gear series, where this is like kind of like your SSD tray, but they mount it with 2 screws on the bottom and the top. It'd be cool if it just sat into like 2 aluminum like grooves and then just screwed in the top, just to save time. Very minimal. I wouldn't say it's really a detraction. It's just a little minor gripe. But I will say the gripe so far is going to be a little bit of cable management. It's a little bit wild, as you can tell right in the back. We will have to dial it in. They need a lot of space to dial it in. This is also BTF, which means if you really want to make a really clean aesthetic, the motherboard connects to the back. This is set up for that. I would like to see one thing that they don't have in this case, which is a GPU pass-through, which has really become common right here in the bottom of the GPU basement. There's no mounting points for fans on the bottom, so not having that GPU pass-through is minor, but it would have been nice versus going through like where your I/O connections are. Fans look really nice, actually. Really thick blades, really good airflow, really good static pressure as well. Rubber mounting as well, really good rubber mounting, so you're not gonna have any vibrations, it's gonna be pretty quiet as well. Built-in RGB fan hub, which is nice. PWM fans, which is a nice little feature. It is a SATA-powered ARGB PWM fan hub, which is pretty common in these types of cases that are in this kind of price point of $100. It is true ARGB and not just like an ARGB signal fans that are in here. So they are true, good quality fans into this case. But we will have a good amount of cable management to do in this case because they all kind of run through each other here. So we're gonna have to kind of tidy this all up right here, which we can do. I'm gonna get some preemptive zips in here. Let's get this motherboard down and in and see how we feel now. Down in we go. Slide our cables up and over here. We're not getting into the way of the I/O in the back. Lift the motherboard up onto our mounts. All good there. Let's get our motherboard box. Plain brown box, all our screws. Oh, they do give you some really nice Velcro. APNX logoed, almost very fractal-ish Velcro straps. I'm not a fan of Velcro. Some people like them if they're in and out of the case a lot. Since we're SI, I typically use a lot of nice, really clean zip ties. little 4-inch thick zip tie here that we use. I'm gonna leave those at bay. They do give you replacement pop, I actually call it retention plastic panels, where you have them for like your side panel, stuff like that. So if one breaks, you do have replacements. That's a nice feature. They give you some zip ties too, in case you don't want to go that route of the Velcro. 12 pieces for hard drive. I like how they label what's on each of the screws. 5 pieces for PSU, in case you drop one. There we go, 13 pieces for motherboard. Apparently, are you able to do an extended ATX? But there's our motherboard screws. There's a 9-point mounting system on this case, which means there's no center point. The center point is indeed a screw. Some cases are going to almost like a pin that seats through the motherboard on the front, or on the case. They're opting to do 9 direct mounting points on this ATX, which is pretty common. But again, some manufacturers are doing like NZXT will do, instead of being a screw here, we'll have like kind of like a pin where it sits on it, because some people are building PCs standing up, which is acceptable, 100% fine. We just obviously will do it this way, just easier, especially for stream to see. Here we go. Wow, really good mount, really secure. Love to see that. Let's get our excess screws we are not using back in this little motherboard bag and then back in the motherboard box. Let's start getting some of our front panel connections connected. Overall, assembly so far, really solid. Definitely put this in the line of like B+, A- tier cases right now, but we're gonna get more hands-on and get our full kind of thought process so far, but so far I'm pretty impressed. Start working on some more cables. I'm gonna grab my light for back here because it is a little dark. First off is gonna be our USB 3.0, and then we have our Type-C header. We're gonna get those in. Here's our USB Type-C. Next will be our USB 3.0 header. There we go. Once these are in, work on the cable management on the back. Nice, so far so good. We just have our front panel connections to do now, which we're gonna do. We have our HD audio, our PWM, and our RGB will go in next. All right, front panel, we have power LED and power switch. Easy peasy on those. So we power switch, all good there, looking good. Down and in. Next is going to be our HD audio. Gets up and in. So we're gonna have our RGB and our PWM come right here. We have our system fan header 1 right here. All in there, very nice. All right, cable management's looking pretty good on the back. We're gonna be tucking some of these wires in with the power supply, which we're gonna work on next. But you can see there's a lot of cables in this case. We're looking pretty clean, pretty neat, pretty tidy for the most part. We're gonna tidy it up a little bit more here in a second, but so far so good. Power supply time. Today we have the 750G from Asus going in, but case and system is looking really good. Typically our power supplies now at Sensible are gonna be the Asus G line from Tough, and then we have also the MSIs. We will have a couple thermal takes from time to time that are like maybe potentially white cables that aren't like the MSI GLs, because I think the MSI only goes to like a 1050 GL or a 850 GL, which we have 850 GLs in stock, which is a white power supply. We're trying to match this for our customers, just out of the kindness. Like usually a white power supply sometimes is a bit more expensive. Like a customer the other day, he's like, hey, my PC, like it's been like about a week and a half, it's my PC shipped. I'm like, no, we had to put in an order for a white power supply to match your aesthetic. We're gonna post the pictures later. And he's like, I didn't even order a white one. He's like, do you just do that for free? I was like, yeah, we just do, you know? We upgraded him to a white power supply, white GPU, and he was like blown away. So this is the type of things that we do for our customers when we can. We'll always try to do it. So this is a rear mounting power supply, very similar to what Fractal and Be Quiet are doing. Let's get our cables we need today. We're going to need our 24-pin main motherboard. We're going to need our 12-volt high power. That's for our CPU, or for our GPU. EPS, wherever you are hiding. We will need one SATA. It's going to power our onboard controller. CPU 1, CPU 2. All these other ones, or actually this is a smaller SATA. Only a 2-pin SATA we'll need. All these other cables will go in the motherboard box for the customer to keep. Again, this is going to go on our website today. It's a quick ship. This we call this the C106, I believe. All of our cables in. Let's get our connections in for our power, our power supply, everything dialed in here. Slide all these cables through. All right, let's get the 24-pin main motherboard in. All right, main motherboard going in. The amount of zip ties on the main channel is fine. And I'll show you how everything's looking here in a second, chat. I know chat wants to see the cable management, they always ask. Those types of things are just really nice. But yeah, just the pass-through here, like a pass-through right here, so we're not doing any bottom fans, would be really, really nice. And then on the back side, for the cable management, this tray is completely open. A couple of zip ties right here, just to help hold these side cables in, because really there's not a lot of cable management right there. That's only great. Everything else has been great. 12-volt high power cable up and through, right here, which we do have room for, which is fine. And just having it right here would be even better. There we go, for later. All right, let's get our EPS cables in for our CPU. All right, time to move on to the cooler. Cable management on the back, like I said, this is the only thing I'd like to see right here, somewhere to kind of dial this in and contain it more, but it's just minor. It still looks good. It just tightened up a little bit on the side there, maybe right there, and that's it, maybe right across the bottom here. A couple of cleats just for zip ties would be fantastic. There's plenty on this side, there's plenty on the middle, plenty on the top up here, but this side and the bottom right here would be two phenomenal spots to have. Like, see how this is kind of just like here? Like tighten it up like this, and then tighten this up on the side. It would just make it look a little bit cleaner. It's still clean, but just those couple extra little zip ties would be huge. Or those little zip tie standoffs would be great. All right, time for the cooler. I don't have a rear camera view, so you guys are gonna miss this out, but it's a pretty quick cooler mount because the Montech HyperFlow comes kind of pre-assembled for the most part, which is really nice. I'll show what I mean by that in here in a second. The fans are already on. It's really nice to be able to kind of just get in here. We're doing a 240 today, so we're gonna go top. So, oh, what I can show you though is this. Was it Antec did it? One of them did it. It just sits right there. That's nice. So we can do this. All right, let's get these screws in. I'll let you guys see what I'm doing here. But there we go, see? Just mounts like this. Be able to drop it right down in, which we're gonna do right now. Before we do that, I'm actually gonna take our cables right here. This is our ARGB and our PWM for our fans and run this back. And we're gonna go down and just drop this right through, like so. It's like butter, like a glove. I can show you guys the above camera really quick so you can see what I'm talking about with the alignment of the rad. It just screws right in. The 6 screws, you can see right here, the little screw alignments right here on this track. They just screw right into the top of the case. We AnyDesk, yeah, we do AnyDesk for the tuning. We do remote connection for the tuning. And then we walk you through the BIOS settings. When you're in the BIOS, like via like your mobile phone and like your camera. But yep, want to over torque it, but make sure we're nice and tight. And we are, there we go, looks good. All right, let's get our cables now. Gotta feed our cables through. RGB and a PWM for the AIO. And then we're gonna work on the cables from the rad here in a second, coming off the fans on the rad. A lot of space up here, I like that already. My hands are getting jammed. For how small this case really is, there's a lot of accessibility, which is a big thing for me in building. I'm not jamming my fingers, cut my fingers up, trying to get cables up top here on the 360 mount. And there's still plenty of space. I'll show you here in a second. There's still plenty of space above the motherboard, so you really get this really connected the way you want it to. I mean, front close up, and I'll show you what I mean. There's a lot of space right here. Remember right here, I mean right above, between the top of the motherboard and the I/O, and the PCB, or not the PCB, but the top of the clearance of the board. There's a lot of space up here. Get my fingers in here, get the connections in without jamming them, cutting them all up. It's really nice. A lot of cases, you're putting your hands back there, you're coming back with some owies, to say the least. You're cutting your fingers up, and it's just not fun. This case does avoid that, which is really, really nice, while still being compact. Put our curved front panel back on. Then we're gonna work on our GPU. There we go. Here, clip right in. There we go. Roll in. Put our top panel back on, and then we get our GPU in. There we go. It snaps back in place. Looking good so far, Chad. What do you think? Got our 4070 Super out today. Asus dual. Obviously, you get a pretty good sized card in here. The dual's gonna be perfect size for this case, though. You probably get a bigger 3-fan model. Just the 4070 Super dual is a really good value. These fans they have in here are really cool, really, really well, while being an exceptionally large card. Super slept on little GPU. I love the like, you get this in some small form factors for some power, like travel PC, stuff like that. It does extremely well. There she is. Nice little 4070 dual. Not super big, but still really efficient. Really good mounting on the back of this case. We'll talk about that in a second. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. There we go. There we go. Nice and seated. Really nice. Get it all screwed in. That ain't going anywhere. Very nice. Up and in we go with our 12-volt high power cable. There we go. All in. Let's slide the excess down and through. There we go. We are done, chat. You want to take a look at this? There's the front angle. Looks really clean. Looks absolutely awesome. Flip that around and see the back. Looks really well as well. And then let's get ready to light it up. Can I get an exclamation point light up in chat? Let's go.
Guys, thanks for coming in and liking another video here on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button, help us with the algorithm. Make sure people find us and see all the beautiful PCs we build. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button as well. Remember, we build these systems live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/stints. Come on over, hang out, chat it up with us, watch us build beautiful PCs for everybody in the community. And remember, let's go.